The price of unseen sacrifices. The house felt emptier than ever. The once warm and comforting presence of her mother was gone, replaced by an unbearable silence. Sophie sat on the floor of her bedroom, surrounded by unpaid bills, eviction notices, and a broken laptop, her last connection to a life she had never learned to manage. Her hands trembled as she reached for her phone, wanting to dial a number she had called 1,000 times before. But this time, no one would answer. Her mother was gone. "Why does she always control my life?" Sophie used to complain. "She treats me like a child." Her mother, Eleanor, was a simple woman with tired eyes and calloused hands, always working, always sacrificing. She worked 2 jobs, one at a bakery in the morning and another cleaning offices at night. She never bought anything for herself, always spending her last dollar to make sure Sophie had everything she needed. But Sophie never saw it. She was too busy scrolling through social media, too caught up in arguing with her mother about curfews and responsibilities. Too blind to see the woman who stayed up late sewing her clothes so she wouldn't feel embarrassed at school. Too deaf to hear the exhaustion in her mother's voice when she whispered, "I just want you to have a better life than I did." One night, Sophie had screamed at her mother, "You ruin everything. I wish you'd just leave me alone." And then, one day, she did. A heart attack. Unexpected. Devastating. Sophie hadn't even said goodbye. She had stormed out that morning after another argument, slamming the door behind her. When she came back, the house was filled with sirens and unfamiliar faces carrying her mother away on a stretcher. The last words she had spoken to her were filled with anger. And now, she was alone. At first, she thought she could handle it. But soon, reality crashed down on her like a storm she couldn't escape. The rent was due. The fridge was empty. The electricity was cut off. That's when she realized, her mother had been fighting battles she never even knew existed. When the landlord came, demanding payment, Sophie stammered, "My mom always handled that." When the school emailed about overdue fees, she whispered, "I thought scholarships covered everything." When she was forced to eat the last piece of bread in the house, she remembered the nights her mother had told her, "I'm not hungry, you eat." Had she been lying? Had she been starving so Sophie wouldn't have to? Guilt crushed her. The weight of every ignored sacrifice, every ungrateful word, every rolled eye, came crashing down like a tidal wave. One evening, as she sat alone in the cold apartment, she found a small notebook hidden in her mother's old coat. Inside were pages filled with scribbled notes, reminders of bills, lists of things Sophie needed for school, and at the very end, a letter never sent. To my little girl. I know you're angry with me now, but one day you'll understand. Every no I said was to protect you. Every rule I made was so you wouldn't suffer like I did. I don't mind being the villain in your story if it means you get to live a better life. And even if you never say thank you, even if you hate me sometimes, I will always love you. No matter what. Mom. Sophie broke down, clutching the letter to her chest. She wanted to scream, to apologize, to turn back time. But it was too late. Her mother was gone, and now, she had to face the world alone. A world her mother had been shielding her from, one sacrifice at a time. Moral of the story: never take a mother's love for granted. By the time you realize how much she does for you, it might be too late to say, thank you.